Hello and welcome back to Get Holy with Mama G. That's just a play on words. It's not, we don't get holy. I'm well aware. I have other channels with that same acronym with different topic interests. So I was like, let's keep it similar and just go with it. So whatever. Life came up. Life happened and I was working through the Bible, and then we're just trying to do so much, like so much is on our plate. We're just twirling everything in the air. We're trying to get this house finished and ready to sell. We just have a few minor projects to finalize, and I have two younger children that I unschool. I have a teenager and an older child that's out of the house. So it's like, different age groups and age ranges or whatever. And I guess we started later in life. So as a 51-year-old, I have a 9 and 11 that I unschool. So that does keep me busy. Then just doing all the things, at home like normally, and like a stay-at-home mom will do. And also we started some extra things this summer. We got into interest of ours. We're looking forward to buying land and having a garden and animals, like a mini pony and goat and chickens for eggs, all the things. So we're looking forward to that, and we're planning, and we're having, all these goals in mind. And it's just kind of like I fell down on continuing this channel with reading through the Bible, which I want to start up again. But something was just on my mind, and I guess with everything going on in the world and events that have transpired, and just looking around and seeing people just fall away from true biblical Christianity into just deceptions of all kinds and shapes and flavors. I just want to really reiterate or remind us all that deception comes in any package that you can imagine, any and all packages, and it's also tailored to whatever group you might find yourself in. Like, that's how our adversary works, obviously, right? He's the angel of light, the Bible tells us. So he's going to have something ready to go for everyone. And when you align yourself in a group or, in a, I don't know, I don't want to just point anything out, just to, focus on the topic at hand and not get into sidebars or rabbit trails. But when you become like group oriented, let's just say in the political world, right? If you're on the left or on the right or whatever it is, it's like you can start forming that group identity where then you will justify things in your group that you would never do for the other group, right? And it's just that sort of like subtle hypocrisy that's always lurking behind, beneath the surface. And I guess I make a saying I've said to my family, I'm like, hypocrisy, what a drug, right? Because it's like, you don't realize it until you step back, step out of it and look at it from a different perspective. It's there. And that's why it's so important just to stay biblical, right? Chapter and verse, and knowing how to be a good Berean, reading in context. If this verse is confusing, let the Bible then just like explain itself. Reference to other things that might make that more clear. Read the verse in context and in the whole chapter. If it's still a little bit, I'm not sure I really get it, whatever, then read the chapter before, the chapter after. Understand who wrote it, the original the author, the original intent, the original audience, and kind of get an idea about what was going on in that world at that time. That the culture around that, things were happening, and then also going back to the original text as well, like using a concordance. There's all these tools and tips and tricks that we can use to really hone in and get an idea about what the scripture's really trying to convey to us, right? Wasn't written to us directly, but is written for us. And we can glean insight and understand more about our faith, more about the triune God that we worship. And so when I see the New Testament contains warnings for false teachers, or, wolves coming in, or false doctrine, bad theology, in all of the books except for one. So 26 out of the 27. I think Philemon would be the only book that doesn't specifically talk about that directly. Jude is just one book, one chapter, right? Very short. It's all about that. The whole thing is a good read. It's very short, very easy to process, and information, or just read through in one sitting. You can just read it as like a devotional with your kids, very easily. And that's the whole theme of the book. So if we don't keep that in mind, and we don't understand that it's not, the whole point of deception is that it's subtle. It's not outright. It's not in your face, right? I mean, I think like I don't like to ever put myself like in a box, because I might disagree with even like a really renowned pastor that, has really solid biblical teaching. I might disagree slightly with one thing here or there. So it's like, I don't ever want to say, oh, I'm this, or this guy says everything right, because it's just, we all have opinions. I don't agree completely with my husband on many things, but I guess I consider myself in more the Reformed camp of things. And the Reformation, of course, broke from the religion, the marriage of state and religion, which was the papacy. And in the ages following that, or around that time frame, the Catholic Church came up with a caricature of what the devil looked like, right? And it's like red and, horns and a tail. And it was like, this is, and it was a way to visualize, like, this is evil, like you'll see it coming with red on. And it's like, no, it's like, that's not really how it works. And I even had a conversation one time with a family member who, solid Bible believing, Christ follower, the whole thing. And I don't know what it was about. I just maybe about like future events, or like eschatology, like end times, and how to, I guess, like how to think of that in terms of what's going on in the world. And I know that's a huge can of worms. There's tons of different beliefs about that. And there is like people that are even in the same camp might disagree with different things that are happening in that, time frame. It's just like wild, and it's Wild West out there. But I think the important thing to keep in mind is those slight variances are just like minor issues, right? We want to get the big stuff right, and we want to keep the main stuff. And the other little things, doctrinal differences, all right, they're not that big. I mean, we don't want to just go to like crash out on somebody that just doesn't align completely with our end times views or whatever, obviously. But we should understand like how to read Revelation correctly, and understand that John was writing as a Jew with Jewish apocalyptic genre, which means that it was metaphor. And so you have to understand that in terms of like, he was specifically writing to, 7 churches, but also using metaphoric language. So when you understand that, it's a lot easier to see that. And he's recapitulating at some point. So he's talking about something, comes back and talks about it in a different way. But, understanding like that, how to read the Bible, is really, really crucial. And it helps a lot. And it irons out some misconceptions or just confusion. But the point is, if we understand that deception is sneaky, and we have to always be on guard, and we have to really hide the word in our heart, like the Bible admonishes us to do. Once we understand that, we get the base foundation correct. There's little things, we can maybe change throughout our life, but when we understand that we do have to be on guard with deception, then we're not going to fall for any of the stuff going around us. We're not going to be swept up in all this, oh, look, there's a great revival happening. It's easy to know, like, is the revival going back to true biblical Christianity, or is it going back to cult-like behavior or another marriage of religion and state? And if that's true, and if it goes back to Catholicism, the revival is false. So keep your mind straight, read the word, be biblical.